Alright, hey. Uh, this video is for my grow buddy and anybody else that might need a chance to check out what's going on over here. I've been growing in this space for several years, but I want to make some pretty significant upgrades to it and fix a lot of the stuff that's just been bothering me throughout previous grows or whatever, and try to improve it to be the best it can be. So I hate showing the place when it's as messy as this is right now. Just had a harvest or whatever coming out of there, but that's the reason that this is the time that I have to refit the space. So let's check it out. All right. So one of the things I had already done is add this timer switch, and I did that because I had on several occasions accidentally left my auxiliary light on when the Gavita was on, or should have been off. So I left the lights on all night during flower. So I put this switch on there that has 5 to 30 minute timer sections. So now, no matter what I hit, the worst it could do is be on for like 29 minutes when it's not supposed to be. So that's good. I got rid of my Blue Lab pH doser and bought another less expensive Guardian because it actually was a lot more useful to have pH and TDS on on both of my monitors rather than the pH monitor, or the pH doser, which only did pH, and it would technically dose pH, but if you're not using a recirculating system, you shouldn't be having any problem with that anyway, and I never used it, so I sold it. I'm probably going to do the same with that Sentinel. I don't do anything with that Sentinel controller. I mean, you can see literally that nothing is plugged into it. The only thing I ever use it for is CO2 when I do that, and they have a bunch of cheap, smaller CO2 monitors that I may move to. So, anyway, last run I did 4-inch cubes on rock wool slabs. It worked fine. I wasn't super happy with the stuff that came out, but I think it was more issues with my newt schedule. It was still better than anything I had done recently. So anyway, I like the 4-inch cubes, but I do not like these rock wool slabs. So normally, if I can step back far enough for you to see, normally this room has 2 of those trays. You can see them right there. That's a Botanicare 3x3 OD tray, which means it's 36 inches on the outside. And so I fit 2 of those on this white rack right here. And this room has always been sided in this Permatex insulation, which has like a foil, a foil side on one side, and it's just styrofoam on the other. And that's just put on there with some double-sided tape right now. I'm going to take that off. So this originally was what I sided this room in. It was just studs. And I put this in there, and there's insulation in that wall as well. I mean, it's insulated in all of the parts that have studs, and behind me, of course, is solid concrete. So the issue was, it worked great, it was fine, but the issue is, if you can see right here, the intensity of the Gavita light shining on it in this area actually destroyed the plastic covering and caused the stuff to shrivel up. And irritatingly, what that did was I don't know if you can see that on camera, but like it just caused this like shiny glitter to rain down, and some of it got on the buds, and that's no good. I recently made a nicer cover for my sump here, and what I did was I cut off the little lugs where the lid attaches so I could just drop this polycarbonate. That's not plexiglass, it's polycarbonate cover on there. It's 1/4 inch thick, and what's nice about it is all the drains and stuff that goes in it. There's trash on here, but I've got this is the actual sump. If the sump pump kicks on, it kicks water up and out. We're gonna look more at that in a second. And then the rest of what's here is, of course, these 2 drains that come together that are the drains for the trays for the drain to waste system. So I like this better than the cover that used to be on it, because it used to be taller than the concrete, so it was hard to set stuff on it. And now I cut a little notch in the corner, and what that's for is this spot right here that I'm looking at is actually the low spot. So if I pour a gallon of water on the floor, then you know, that's where it's going to collect, and it dribbles down into the sump. I am considering doing a white epoxy floor in here. I haven't decided to do that yet, but I'm thinking about it. Just depends on how much energy I have, I guess. Now about that deal, so the sump pump kicks up water through an 1.5-inch pipe to a check valve that I put there, and then it used to just come straight up the wall right here and go out, but I needed it out of the way so these trays could fit in there, so I moved it so that it now goes back up, and then it travels up behind this, and you can see it comes out right here, and then it goes across and back in the wall. But that actually stuck out of the wall right there. So you'll notice that there's a little ledge, a couple-inch ledge here that is the footer that's been poured, and then there's the actual stud wall. I'm going to do two things. What I'm going to do is take this and cut it and turn it so that it goes in and comes down but farther back, so that when I put the new surface on this wall, I'll take this off and replace it with the FRP panel. When that goes up, it'll cover this up, and you won't, like, the pipe just won't be visible at all. I already cut out the insulation to look behind it to make sure I could do it, and there's enough space to stuff that pipe in there, so that's what I'm going to do. I'll use the same FRP faced OSB board to replace the ceiling. You can see some covers there where I had some penetrations when it had 6-inch ventilation. I run a sealed room now, so these areas where there was 6-inch ventilation can be removed. There's another one. Here are some penetrations for if I ran a cord in or out of the room. I wanted to have a space to easily do that, so those are just PVC pipes that have like a sock stuffed in them to keep air from moving through it. I don't like those. I'm going to get rid of them completely. There's another one up there that's where all the water and stuff comes in. But when I do the new paneling in here, panel it all up in that FRP stuff, I will either put junctions that I can attach hoses to that go through, or I will stuff the hose through and caulk it or something like that. Because the goal here in this little room is to make it completely sealed, where I'm not having any air in and out, and can do CO2 and all that business. I'm going to rebuild this little control area so that it's, you know, better. It needs a little cabinet and it needs a door. These, I know supposedly green light doesn't hurt plants, but I'll tell you, when you come in here when it's dark, I can close the door. When you first close the door, you can't see anything, but after your eyes adjust to the glow that's coming off of these, they light up this room so well that I can actually see the plants. Like, not in great detail, but like I can literally reach out and touch stalks and stuff, because I like, there's so much light in here from that. I don't think it hurts the plants, but at the same time, I would like to be able to like close a door on the front of that. So we're going to rebuild all that and hopefully get some better cord management going on in here. So that is what's going on. Hopefully some of the after videos, after this before video, are going to show that I get all this trash out of here and get all that stuff replaced with the good paneling, get the mini split reinstalled, and have everything looking good. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that whiteboard because I never use it, and just hang a clipboard or something there. So anyway, that's what's going on there. The veg and storage area is not too bad. My little clone box or whatever, never use it. Probably get rid of that. So just supplies and stuff. This is you know, where I keep my chemicals and nutrients, and I've cleaned out a lot of crap here. I've really tried to get to the point where if I'm not using it, I just get rid of it. But I still do have the screen and the third tray that doesn't fit in there from back when I had a bigger space. There's a few things I can't bear to get rid of. The chiller I tried to use to fight root rot and could never do it. Anyway, This is my veg area. I've got another Botanicare tray with a bunch of 4-inch cubes. I did decide to try out these Floraflex caps, and the reason why is because the tops of my caps always got disgusting. Like they just look. Here, I'll show you one. Like here's your cube, you know, here's your rockwool cube, and that's great or whatever. But if you let the cube grow without having some kind of cap on it, it'll get all kinds of funky algae and stuff on it. And these cubes, I just, you know, they were already in use before I put the trays on there. But the point is, they have a bunch of little holes in them, and the idea is that when you water something, and they distribute the water throughout the cube, which, to be honest, I have noticed is necessary with the rockwool cubes or whatever. So obviously you would typically have them on an automated situation, but if I just take this little, you know, like that much water, what's that, a quarter of a liter, I can pour it into the little tray, and it really does distribute the water throughout the cube better than just pouring a stream of water on it. And the reason I can say that is that after I pour that quarter liter into this cube that really didn't need it, it was already wet. I mean, there's nothing coming out of it. Whereas it has a tendency, if you take a cube like this and just pour it into the corner of the cube, it has a tendency to just go straight through the cube. So I've already noticed that there are two benefits to it. It helps distribute the water, and it helps protect the cube from too much algae growth. So the next time when I do a run where I use them from the beginning, we'll see how well they really work. I'm getting these girls green back up. They look a little yellow, but I'm getting them green back up after a little bit of neglect, working on other stuff. So I got the Floraflex caps and cubes for the next run and so forth. Those were like $2.50 a piece, but I decided to bite the bullet and do it. Alrighty then, so I'm going to cut it off for now. I'm going to clean up in here and do some of the work, and then we'll come back and see if I was able to make any progress. Oh hey, we're going to get to check out that drain action because I forgot to put the tub under the drain while I was washing my tray out. Oh well.